Hello, and welcome to HearthBreakers, the podcast where hearts are broken and cards are played. On today's special, we have first an introduction, which we usually do. Then we'll talk a bit about the SeatStory Cup and IEM tournaments that have been recently. And we'll then go over to some meta discussion, where we have some significant, awesome news. And in the end, we'll finish it up with some card discussion, as we started last time, but unfortunately didn't manage to finish in time. So as usual, get something to drink, and we'll talk a bit about what everyone has been doing this past week and what they're drinking. So Michael, what are you drinking and what's up?
What's up indeed? I am gonna drink, and not currently, Royal Export. The same as I did 2 weeks ago. It is now finished, so I am moving on to a new beer next week.
New beer, new possibilities.
It's gonna be a secret what it's gonna be.
I don't know what it's gonna be. Whatever is on sale and I haven't tried before. Well, I have participated in some tournaments. No big results. And me and Henry, who is missing, if you are unaware of the giant missing sign.
Is he missing? I didn't notice.
We started up a stream concept thing where we basically co-op on ladder, 2 persons playing on one account, discussing things. So we got that going. Otherwise, nothing special.
Cool. So Christopher, what are you drinking, and what have you been up to?
I'm sticking to my multi-fruit juice. I'm just happy with that.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, just the same. It's good. Still good. Will be good forever. I'm studying for exams currently, but I've actually had quite a lot of time to play HearthStone. I've
not studying that much.
I've taken my time to play HearthStone. I participated in Gosu Cup, and I didn't do any special results, but I've been playing my warrior deck on ladder, and I'm currently sitting top 50 legend. I managed as high as rank 6 just recently, so that is really nice, and I'm kind of dreaming of getting rank 1, and I think it's actually possible.
Doing less and less schoolwork.
Yeah, no. I have exams at Friday, so gotta study for that.
Yeah, gotta get that studying going.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what about you, Dario?
Actually, I've been playing a lot of HearthStone as well recently, because I also have exams.
Nice.
It all makes sense now.
Oh,
we're all extreme slackers, yes. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of HearthStone. Also reached Legend. I was the first to reach Legend I would just like to put that out. I did it before Christopher.
It's okay, Dario. It's okay.
Unfortunately, I decided to, now that I'm Legend, I think I started the first day that I was Legend. I got to think my max was rank 20 or something. And then for some obscure reason, I decided, I'm gonna try some new decks. So basically now I'm rank 400. So yeah,
good job, Dario.
Don't try out new things. It usually sucks. But anyway, if you didn't notice, we actually have a few new things this time. Me and Michael and Henry, who unfortunately can't be here, got new microphones. These awesome new things, which should probably improve our sound, hopefully, unless we didn't waste money. But and Henry is missing today.
And I'm just slacking and not buying new stuff.
But at least you win stuff, so I guess you got that going for
me. Yeah.
Is there any more in the introduction that I forgot to talk a bit about? I think we can move over to the SeatStory Cup discussion, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, can do. Let's go.
Cool. It's kind of a bit. I think it's like a week ago or something, maybe a bit more actually. But yeah, there was this SeatStory Cup in Germany, which invited a lot of players from HearthStone, StarCraft 2, and I think some other game. Yeah, Warcraft 3 as well, which was really cool. It was basically like a big building house thing that was with like 50 gamers just meeting up in the building, like having like a big sleepover with some brains and talking a bit about the games and playing some games where the games are casted by the players.
Oh.
So it's not a new concept. It's been in StarCraft 2 for a while, I think. It was can't remember what it's called, but it's always been really cool to just like get the players to cast the games when they're not playing. And personally, think I watched every single round of the SeatStory Cup. It's quite long games, but I think it's for me personally, I think it's one of the coolest Hearthstone casts there's been so far. Like it's really good games, and it's just like chill. Everybody's chilling out, talking a bit about the games and making fun of each other and such. So it's kind of it's cool to see, I think. And
Nice.
yeah, anybody else watched it or?
I haven't watched it. Were there any like those famous people, or was it like?
Yeah,
just-
it was famous people. It was like Trump.
So it was an invitational, I guess.
Yeah. It was 8 players, I think. It was Trump, Savages, Ecop, Nimsh, basically Doggy House and
Team Ragnaros thingy.
yeah, I can't remember what they're called actually. Oh, Liquid Value.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, basically those 2 teams, and then one guy called Lucifer, I think, from Korea.
Oh.
Yeah, some Korean guy, I think. I'm not
Yeah,
sure,
okay.
but yeah, there was some guy I didn't know before. Anyway, I think it was quite cool. But what I really liked was that the games were the old standard format that everybody loves, like the BlizzCon format, where
Oh yeah, okay.
you played like a you had like I think you could choose 4 decks that you could use for the tournament. And then you play one, and then if you lose, you can't play that deck again. So it's like a best of 5, but you can bring 4 decks, so you don't have to play every single deck every
What
round.
was the final best of 7 then? Or was it?
No, it was also
Okay.
best of 5.
Okay, so you just had one
Yeah,
extra deck.
yeah, basically. So you had some more options. It was quite cool to see people counter and what kind of decks there were.
Yeah.
There was some Murloc and such, like to counter really control decks. It was quite cool to see.
Oh, wasn't there a Hungry Crab in Trump's deck?
Yeah. There was also but that's the other thing. In addition to the 4 decks, you could actually bring one deck that was your secret deck, which you didn't have to report. Like it was a deck you didn't have to report, but you could use it one time in the tournament.
Lol.
Yeah, it was basically like a random joker. Like you could use one random deck, like you could make it on the fly or something that you could use only one time in the tournament. Like not when you've used it, and then if you lose with it, then you can never use like that deck again in the tournament.
Yeah, okay.
You could do that once, and some people had, I believe Stripecrow was just like Caraface and then just played Druid twice. Because like just gonna play Druid, but I think Nimsh had like a Murloc deck as his secret deck and such. Like people got a bit creative. I think Ecop had Handlock as his secret. Anyway, I think it was quite cool that you saw some interesting decks, like things specifically made to counter I think 1 or 2 decks. So it was nice.
Nice.
So basically BlizzCon format with the addition of like a secret deck thing.
Yeah, and an additional deck.
One more deck.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I only saw the Warcraft 3 games.
Oh. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna do that at some point.
Yeah.
I can really recommend. Like it's. I think it's one of the tournaments that I thought so far that is the coolest. Like in terms of how the quality of the games and the casting was really nice and such. So yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't. You can find the VODs are only on Twitch. So it's kind of like it's 7-hour casts with the other games as well.
Oh,
But
yeah, okay.
actually, if you get to the Reddit called Reddit/r/HearthStone VODs, you can watch. You can find those VODs like numerated with the specific times, so you can just click on a link and then basically the game starts. It's really cool. I think we'll put down a link in the description after if you want to check it out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do that. I guess.
For the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fair
I
enough.
guess that's it for Seat Story Cup. So Michael, will you
Yeah, I
talk
think
a bit
Michael
about
is on IEM. Yeah.
yeah
Okay.
talk a bit about the IM and tell us why you hate it.
Well, IM is just the opposite of everything you just mentioned. I don't know how many of you guys saw it, but they had. I think we mentioned earlier how they had this qualification system that we complained a lot about because only one player was qualified, and the rest was like one Polish guy and then one rest of Europe guy and then two famous guys, so to say. Where they got Atosis and Nimish basically because Nimish was Polish and Atosis was already casting StarCraft 2, so like it was easy for them to just select those two players. But the tournament in general was very, very bad. The production value was so low. The music was like they had two music tracks intervening on each other and it just sounded horrible. At some point I had to mute it and play my own music and it increased the quality of the stream.
Why would we ever have to watch these things if we can have your positive reviews, Michael?
Exactly. Well, I didn't get to talk about SeatStory Cup, so I can't get to talk about the good things. Well, yeah. And the casters was like one dude. I'm not sure he even like played the game. He was just like there. He wasn't even like a caster for any of the other games. He was the host. The normal host was brought in to be a caster, and then they had the StarCraft 2 caster, who was, I guess, he knew a little bit about the game, but not too much. So it was basically him talking about everything he knew, mostly sounding stupid in the process, and then the other guy saying yes. So that was the other reason I could mute it, because they weren't saying anything useful anyway. So.
Well, actually, I think I saw on Reddit there was actually those casters actually got a lot of flack, and Gnimsh he wrote on the Reddit thread, and he said that people expect too much from casters in general because you're used to people knowing everything, I guess. But I think that's kind of wrong because.
Of course, you have to expect something. You don't watch a football game and then like hire some guy who have never seen football to talk about what is happening. Like, why would you do that? Of course you, I'm missing the words right now.
Yeah, you expect the people who cast it to have the knowledge of the game. Of course, you have Atosis casting StarCraft for a reason. He knows tons about StarCraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you would bring people who knows tons about the Hearthstone to cast Hearthstone. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah, but I think he also mentioned that it was kind of like the whole idea to have Hearthstone at IEM was kind of like a last minute thing. So
probably.
So they didn't really have. I don't think they had time to actually get proper casters, and I think the stream was like delayed really.
Yeah, it was delayed 2 hours. After 1 hour, they said, okay, it's delayed 1 hour. I was like, okay. Then 1 hour later, they're like, hey, it's delayed 10 minutes more. And then 10 minutes more. They extended the timeline like by 10 minutes each time. So it's just. You had no idea when it started, and then when it finally started, it was basically shit. But yeah, it sounded if it was the last like minute thing, like you mentioned, then it sounds like they just wanted to cash in on the hype, which is really unfortunate because Intel Extreme Masters, like usually for all the other games, they have a really good show and a really high production value, really great quality, and then this just seems. Like so bad in general.
Yeah.
And even the players were trolling. So
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
So yeah, that's what happened, and like I hope
So
they
here
will
we-
improve it to next time.
So basically, we
Yeah.
have two polar opposites
Yeah.
of tournaments,
Yeah.
which
I just really hope that IEM will keep I hope they really will improve
keep
how they
Hearthstone
handle the
on the
game.
menu.
Yeah, like I hope they keep Hearthstone on the menu, and because like they are one of the
The big names.
tournament
I
holders.
think they are the biggest tournament
Yeah,
holder.
probably. They are. Yeah, they are the
Standalone for many
Yeah.
games, like for not just one game.
Yeah.
Like the international is only Dota, and there's like LCS, which is only LoL. But
Yeah.
IEM is kind of like a neutral big
Yeah,
tournament.
they have
Yeah.
all the games: StarCraft, CS, LoL, and Hearthstone as well.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that. I really hope they step up their game. I hope they keep Hearthstone, and then perhaps invite more people, more than 4, and
Yeah,
actually
more than
make
4.
real qualifiers. Have like I don't know.
Like, don't they do that for like StarCraft as well? Like, it's a huge. Is it like top 32 or something? And there's like an open bracket at IEM or something as well? Or am I wrong?
I have no idea.
Okay,
So-
like I know the StarCraft tournament is a lot bigger for sure, and like the games take around the same time, so they could do it just like StarCraft, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe they didn't have time to set it up this time. I don't know.
Maybe.
So, yeah,
Let's hope it's better for next time.
Yeah,
And let's
we
hope
can
the
only-
players also take it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
Because like the players went into it with what is the guy, the Rockstar dude and Sacrificial Pact and shit. I don't know.
Oh, Tyrant Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean I think it was more like a promotional thing.
Yeah.
I think that's how they tried to play it off anyway.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, but
Blizzard could do that themselves though.
Yeah. I guess not much more to say about it
Nope.
than we were.
Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Hope they
Yeah.
make it better.
I guess that's
Really.
what there's to say.
yeah. So moving on, let's talk a bit about the meta right now, because I think I have a feeling that it's growing quite stale. Like you see a lot of the same things as you did the other weeks, but now you kind of have like a meta where there's like I think 5 decks that are really good, and then there is some that are like just below good enough. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys feel?
Which ones would you say are the top decks right now? There we go.
Well, what I see mostly on the ladder is definitely Warrior Control.
Yeah.
Is definitely one of the big contenders. It's a really good deck, really consistent, and it deals with a lot of aggro. It's really good against Hunter, and it's decent against like Zoo and such.
Yeah.
So it's not like the best, but you can win against it, unlike some other decks. But yeah, I think it's a consistent deck. It's like one of the most consistent if you just wanna like have a good win rate in general. And then there's obviously Hunter, which is the most annoying deck in the world, and it's probably gonna stay for a while until they nerf it, which I hope they will. But yeah, that's definitely like one of the decks that you just see sometime. Like you see it a lot, sometimes more than other. But I definitely meet it like maybe 3 out of 10 games is probably Hunter. So maybe a bit less, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that ratio.
It's a lot more than it was last week and 2 weeks ago, where it almost disappeared. Really,
Yeah.
I don't know why it resurged. Why it
I think it's just a good deck. Like,
Yeah, it is good.
I don't know.
I had a quest for it, and I was like, "Hey, I hate Hunter, but I need to like get this quest," and I just won 5 games in a row
Yeah.
with the gay ass deck.
Yeah, it's so skilled. but
I felt really good though playing.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure you did.
I think that's like
That's
two of
two.
the most seen decks, and then I think Druid is
Druid,
up there.
definitely, yeah. Like
Um,
Druid
I-
is always a big contender, I think.
Yeah, I see it mostly kind of rushy actually. Like
The tempo
some weeks
version.
back, it was mostly late game, but I've gotten beat up by like Imp Master and Violet Teacher engines with
The token druid.
Token Druid with that that spell card that can make either a 3/2 or buff everyone with 1/1, and then scenarios. I just get really beat up by one game, and other versions of that where they all focus on the mid game ish, early to mid game, and not so much late that it used to be.
Well, personally, I haven't seen that deck at all. Like,
Okay.
I can recall one time I've actually met that deck.
Yeah, I've only met it once as well. I just got beat up so hard by it.
Yeah. What I usually meet from druids is the Watcher Druid, which is pretty much the standard with the Watchers, and then you play like one big monster, and then you basically go for mid game ish with Watchers, which is quite good against.
Kill engine for 14 damage, right?
Yeah. And it's quite good against Hunter. Like, you win against Hunter a lot. I played that deck myself as well, and it's quite good against Zoo as well. So it's really good against aggro. You can usually it's not really good against Control Warrior. I feel like I often lose to that deck because they just out late game you. Like, if you don't draw a really good hand, like, you need an Iterate, and then you need some early drops and really put pressure on them early game, make them waste their removal on inefficient, like 2-for-1 your minions and such. Like, just keep putting pressure, and then you can win pretty easily. But if you don't draw like a really good starting hand and you don't really have innervates and such, then it can be hard.
No.
So there's warrior control, hunter, there's druid, and there's zoo. Obviously the warlock aggro, I see that a lot all the time. Different variants of it. Some with a bit of murloc as well. I don't know.
I've seen it a lot, but I've mostly seen it just the one that Reynard made.
Yeah.
Only that.
It's usually that
version.
It's mostly that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you don't really see. I don't really see. Maybe 1 or 2 cards variants, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's that. There's 4, and then
the Giant's Lock is there as well for sure.
I haven't seen that for a long time.
Oh, I've actually played that quite a bit recently.
Okay.
And it's really annoying to play as always. It is really strong. I feel like I don't know. It might have trouble with the Hunter. I think that's the
they just lose to Hunter.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I just feel like it's really annoying to deal with.
So yeah, those are actually, I think, the most common decks.
Miracle Rogue maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, the thing is that I guess you could say Rogue in general is decently popular, but I think it's kind of split between Miracle Rogue and the Fair Rogue-ish.
Yeah, like Control Rogue.
Yeah, Control Rogue, where you just play a lot of minions, like good minions and such.
Yeah, okay.
Which is
Miracle version. So.
But yeah, I think Miracle Rogue is still the most popular one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually also quite popular. So maybe those 6 decks are like the most popular, and then
I think I agree.
And below that there is like Shaman, which is I feel Shaman is actually really good, but it's not that popular. Like, I don't see many players play it, and I think that's mostly because they're afraid of Hunter, which is like the worst matchup in the world. Like, I would argue that it's harder to win with Shaman against Hunter than it is with Handlock against Hunter. Like some turns you can't even do anything with Shaman because you can't hero power. Like, your hero power works against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. With Unleash.
Yeah. It's like, it's just terrible. And then, like, the only times I've actually won against Hunter with Shaman is like crazy early game hand, and then finished them off with Doomhammer.
Doomhammer.
I rushed them down before they rushed me down, and that's like
not really very easy.
Yeah. So I think Shaman is good, but it's not seen as much. And then I see a bit of what's it called? The mage. I see some a paladin. Yeah, paladin.
Yeah, I've seen paladin as well.
Actually, and I actually lost to it just recently, and I'm not sure what they play. I think they play pretty much what Reyna had played with Paladin, like with just mass removal. Like he played Kodo definitely.
Yeah, I've met that as
I
well.
don't like that deck. Seems bad.
I don't think I haven't met anyone playing Doomsayer.
Yeah, he
But
played that as well against me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
He basically played Reynard's Paladin list, which is kind of like late game but without giants.
I met one that played the Molten Giants only, and that was really tricky when he just dropped them on turn 8 double. He had 13 health, dropped double Molten Giant and a Sunfury Protector. Like, what do you do? So much board pressure. Yeah. I think that deck is viable as well, but maybe not tier 1.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
It's okay.
It's just below tier 1. And then there's just like, I think Priest is definitely the deck that I see the least.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
also very weak.
It dies to 4 attack monsters, basically.
Yeah.
I think playing, like, everyone is playing Assure Drakes and what is he called? Cairn. Just because those cards are also very good against Warrior, which is very popular, so everyone is playing those cards. And
well, talking about Warrior, actually, how do you guys feel about Ooze? Just talk a bit about that card, which has seen a lot of play recently.
I am playing in my Warrior deck. I'm playing in Legend with. I'm playing one Ooze. I just put it in recently over Wild Pyromancer, and I feel like it fits in the deck. Not specifically into the Warrior deck, but just because there are a lot of things that it hits. Like, it was put in because I was really annoyed by enemy warriors having it. Gorehowl, yes, and I just got owned by that, and that was really annoying. So I put it in, and it just takes a lot of decks. Like, if you hit a fresh 3/2 weapon from a warrior or a Gorehowl, it deals so much damage to them. Like, they are set so far behind, and it removes damage from Hunter, which is really good. I've taken like True Silver Champions from Paladins as well, even. And if you play something that don't play weapons, you can just drop it as 3/2.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just a really good card. Like, in this meta, there are many decks playing weapons. Like even rogues play weapons. So I think it's a really good card in the meta. Just a one-off maybe. Like, I'm only playing one. So
yeah, I definitely agree. I went as far as to actually play 2 of them in my zoo deck, which worked quite nice. Like, you can just throw it in. Like, I put them in instead of Amani Berserkers, and it worked quite well. And I have a rule of thumb that I want to play at least one in every single of my decks currently, because there are so many weapon class decks that are popular. And in general, I feel like it's a good card. Like, it's pretty much good against everything that you see except Warlock
and Druid.
And Druid. Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah, it's still just a 3/2 drop. Like, it's just average, basically.
Yeah, it's not average.
It's not awful. And,
but a lot of the time, average is
bad. Yeah, I know. True.
Like, it's not good enough.
It's not good enough, but on the other hand, like, it does exceptionally well when it kills a weapon. Like, it just has value of like 5 mana or something.
I think one of the best, like, some of the best times I've played it has actually been against Rogue, where you just take their Assassin's Blade and they're like,
GG.
Oh, I guess I lost that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely I think it's a really good card currently, which is why so many decks are playing it right now. Like, I
haven't seen many play it, actually. Like, I know I'm playing it myself, and I know you are playing it, but I still just throw out my 3/2 weapons on turn 2 without using any charges, and I'm not afraid of getting hit by Ooze. Like, there's no one playing it.
Well, you might be right on that, actually, because I haven't actually seen it that much as well, which is kind of a surprise. I feel like some people are playing it, like you see on Reddit as well, like people with people who are like, oh, I just reached Legendary, blah, 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 look at my deck, and they play Use. So it's definitely out there, but I don't think people give it as much credit as they should.
probably not.
So I think that's a mistake. I think it's a really good card right now, and like I have gone as far as to prefer playing Druid right now, just because you don't actually lose to Ooze.
Yeah, I guess.
Lose to
You
Ooze.
don't lose to.
Yeah,
The ooze is loose.
the Ooze destruction. So
Oh.
so yeah, that was a bit about Ooze.
Yeah.
So yeah, me and Christopher reached Legendary just recently, I think below a week ago.
Yeah, less than a week ago.
Less than a week ago. And I think we're gonna talk a bit about the decks we play
Yeah.
to get there. I don't actually know which deck is coming up first, so Michael, can you...
Warrior from Hero.
I guess that is mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to take it first.
I can do a brief introduction to it, and then you can maybe ask into it afterwards if you want.
Yep.
Like, if you look at the deck, you'll see that it is a
Pretty
bit
standard.
more. No, it's not actually. Like, I play Children Yeti, I play Aerith the Weaponsmith, I play Cleave and the Ooze that we talked about. Like, I think my deck is more focused on the mid game and getting pressure on the board, which helps me in some matchups and can kind of hurt in some other matchups. Like, the deck is really, really, really good against the Hunter Rush, and it's. You say Warrior Control normally isn't that good against.
Now I can see how this
Zoo?
would be better.
Yeah, and this deck is really, really good against Sue as well. But I think on the other hand, I feel like I'm not doing too well against Druid, because as you say, normally they outlate game them, and I don't feel like I do that. I feel like I lose to them just having too many monsters on the field, and I can't keep track of it. Like, yeah. I feel like Druid is a problem. That's what I lose the most to.
Yeah, I can actually see that looking at your deck list. This could be a problem.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the major difference between this and the standard Warrior is Alexstrasza not being there, and
yeah, that's one thing for sure.
And thus you shifted a lot of the momentum to the earlier stages of the game. When I usually play against Warrior, they do nothing, then they brawl, and then they play a big dude.
Yeah.
Where when I see you play this deck, it's way more, hey, I play stuff every turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I actually think I like this version.
Yeah, I feel like you are definitely way better off against aggro than my deck is. I also play a Warrior Control, but I play more traditional. I've taken some of your stuff, actually, though. I really like the Yetis.
Mm-hmm.
I put in 2 Yetis in mine as well. I haven't played the Ooze yet. I actually prefer having a big game hunter.
Yeah, okay.
But I've taken the 2 Yetis, and I still like my Alexstrasza, because I really like to play for that trade early game and just play defensive, and then turn 9, drop the Alexstrasza, get them to 15, and then take the game from there. That's how I usually play the deck, but I can definitely see this being played a bit different. And
do you not play the Usurrer then?
I play Usurrer as well.
Alexstrasza on top of everything else?
I play Alexstrasza on top of the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I think the difference from my deck is think 1 Big Game Hunter instead of Ooze, and Alexstrasza instead of Weaponsmith. I think that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but I can definitely see those 2 cards being really good against. Like, I have lost some games against Hunter, and that might have not happened if I had a Ooze or something.
Yeah.
So
I think especially, like, I had a game against like the Cleave. You won't see that in too many decks. I had a game against
Sue?
Against Suya, where I dropped it and got 2 knife jugglers with it that I had no other outs to, and that was like, from there on I was like, okay, that Cleave is never gonna go out of the deck, because I just straight up lost it, and cleaving on 2 knife jugglers just insta wins the game. Like, you get so far ahead.
Yeah, it's really strong.
yeah, I agree with the cleave. From like after I saw your deck, I also put one in instead of slam. Slam can sometimes be kind of underwhelming, but yeah.
And so can cleave, but like they fit different situations.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, like the deck plays from turn 1. Your optimal starting hand is like Armor Smith with coin, and then Cruel Taskmaster at turn 2. That's a sick opener, and then then you have a turn 3 play either Acolyte or Frothing. You have turn 4 plays. You don't really have too many turn 5 plays because you don't actually want to play Gadget Sun on turn 5. You want to wait until you can play it with spells. Like it's really good turn 8 along with a shield block or something.
I want to actually get your opinion on Gadget-san, because I've really like so many times I've felt that it's just like I never really use it. Like I never really use the effect. It's kind of like in theory it's really good in the deck, but in practice, like you usually don't have the mana to put it down on the turns that you actually like. If you put it down, you've basically already won. So I've actually taken it out of my deck list now that I can see.
I can see why. I'm not sure you put Assured Rig in, but I can definitely see like they are two different cards, but they kind of have the same role to fuel your hand while still putting something on the board.
I really don't like Assured Rig in this.
No, I'm not playing it either. But like the thing about Auctioneer, I have only one, and sometimes like you can be down on hand, and then you can just drop it and drop like three weak spells. Like say turn 8, they just dropped Ragnar or something. You drop Auctioneer, Whirlwind, and Execute, and I must agree. I would not take it out. I took the second one out, and I'm still sometimes considering putting it back in. But I think I like it more with only one.
Yeah,
I could see taking it out just because you draw all of the cards anyways.
yeah. You
Just,
have so much.
you don't want to replace it with a Assured Rig. Like
No. I have replaced it with I haven't replaced. I have replaced it with like a Yeti or something. But in general, I have like from that list, I have minus Gadgetzan and plus Brawl. You don't play Brawl.
I don't play Brawl either.
Which I think makes sense with your deck, so it's okay. But I play it in my deck, and like it's so many times, like it's been the most debated card for me in the deck. Like so many times I've played the deck and I've been like, I had Gadgets out on my hand and I'm like, wow, I can't use this for shit, and then I end up playing it on turn 7 and just hero powering, and having like a 4/4 on the field for 5 mana, which is kind of like, well, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it in the deck because
it gives options.
It gives options, and it's a way to really come back in the game if you're sitting really down on hand. Like you have 2 cards, opponents have 5 or something. They drop 2 cards on the field, and you can just drop Auctioneer and kill the 2 monsters and not do card advantage. Like I feel like it's a way to get back in the game, and I like just the one-off.
Yeah, cool.
I think I don't think there's much I'm considering changing in the deck. Like, I obviously like. I've considered Brawl and Alexstrasza. I don't have any of them, but I could probably craft them if I wanted to. But I
actually don't think they would fit that much into your deck playstyle.
I think I like the way the deck looks right now, like this.
Yeah.
I'm playing at like rank sub 30 in Legends, so it's definitely good like this. I like it.
Well, let's move on to the next deck, I think.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
If you can just tell me which deck it is.
It is the test deck.
Oh, yeah, the secret deck.
Oh,
literally the secret deck, not just a secret deck. It's my new it's my new invention that I've been working a bit on this past week. It's been like ups and downs. The early versions were much worse than this build, and I lost, like, this was the deck that I tried in Legend, and I was like, well, I guess I lost a lot of rating because it was quite bad. But this latest version seems to work pretty well. Basically, the theory is that I think the mage secret especially are really, really, really good when you are ahead. Because when you are ahead, the opponent can't afford to play around your secrets. Like if you are ahead and then you have a mirror entity on the board, like they can't afford to throw down like a random ass minion that's like they can't afford to throw down a loot hoarder to test it because then they won't have enough mana to get back into the game, like combat your field.
Yeah.
And if
So-
they drop something big, they just get even further behind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like you can basically win if you are ahead and have a mirror entity, and they don't have like really good clear. Counterspell works kind of the same against some classes, like against Shaman. Counterspell is really good.
Drop it on turn 9 against Druid. They
Uh,
will be sad.
Yeah.
No
So,
works for them.
but I would never play two of them because, especially the meta is so minion heavy, and in general, Hearthstone is really minion heavy. So, playing two of them just ensures that some games you will never get it to actually proc, and you will just lose.
What
guess
about
it takes-
Vaporize?
It takes Unleash as well.
Yeah.
It's good against some matchups, and against like Zoo and such, you just whatever.
Useless, yeah, I guess.
Vaporize is there because of lack of good secrets. Like Vaporize isn't the best for the purpose, but it's just generally a decent secret. Like
Have you tried the ice barrier thingy, or what's it called, Spellbender?
I don't like Spellbender. I think that's the worst secret. I think it's just
Mark
a
of
worse
the Wild,
counterspell.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, there are not many. Like if Blessing of Kings and Mark of the Wild and that Blessing of Might, those cards, if those cards were meta, I think it would be probably better than Counterspell, but they are not. Like,
in general, I like Counterspell better than Spellbender.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I don't think I would ever play it because I don't think Counterspell is that good.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess.
Like like Spellbender doesn't take Unleash, and for that reason alone, it's
Yeah, I
much
guess.
inferior. So yeah, Vaporize is kind of like an iffy spell secret because in general it's a decent secret. Like you can usually, unless they have like a lot of tokens and shit, you can usually get the value back. But it doesn't really serve the purpose of the deck, the purpose of the secrets. But just because you have it, like sometimes you can confuse the opponents. They can make bad plays because they think it's something else. And like it's basically in the deck because it's a secret and not because it's insanely good. Yeah, and I have the one ice block as well, also kind of because it's a secret and kind of because that you can sometimes win on it, and also kind of because it's really good with Eternal Arcanist.
Yeah.
Because it never gets removed, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you
I
always
think
have.
The big point about this deck is that like the secrets in themselves are not so strong, but the combos with both Ethereal Arcanist and Kirin Tor Mage are just so
Those two
much
cards
advantage.
are really good. Like Kirin Tor Mage is one of the best cards in the game. Like it's a 3/4, like no, it's a 4/3 for 3 mana, and you get a free secret that can like screw over your opponent so hard.
Yeah.
Like it's just a huge tempo card, and it's insane. So basically, the way the deck works is it has an insanely low mana curve. So you want to take control from the match from the very beginning. Like you have 2 1-drops. You want to have a 1-drop on start hand, and you just want to play minions every turn, like kind of like the zoo. And then once you have like board control, which you will usually have, you can play a secret, and then they are basically screwed. Because yeah, they will get really far behind. And then for late game, you have Arcane Intellect, which is a really good late game card, I feel.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, I guess.
On
And
turn
you are-
10, draw 2 cards, play 2 minions or something if you need
Yeah.
it. And you have generally decent draw power in the deck with the HearthBreakers as well.
Huh. When
And
I look at it, I see 2 polymorph, and yeah, you can say that is for the late game, right? But it seems a bit weird maybe when you're so focused on the early game.
Yeah, but the thing is that once you get to the turn 5s and 6 and such, you will usually have them a bit low, and you will have a few minions. So if they are like, if you have mirror entity, they play Cairn, then you get the Cairn, and then you polymorph it next turn,
Yeah, okay.
and then you win the game.
Yeah, basically.
Have you
then you
mirror
win the game.
entity the can yet?
I have.
Oh, that's really good.
I have like quite a few times actually. People, I don't know if people don't expect it. I think most people expect when they see
Ice block.
secrets, they expect it to be defensive ones like Ice Block or
It's
Ice
funny
Barrier.
because I really think mirror entity is the best one of them all.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is that Ice Block was so played when Mage
Yeah,
was
exactly.
meta.
Like people
Yeah.
have it coded into
Still
their
think
head.
It's the best. Yeah.
True.
So yeah, that's basically. I think that's also one of the reasons the deck works. Like just because just the nature of secrets, they are secret, so people don't know about them.
Because it's not meta. Because like if
Yeah,
everyone knew that this deck was meta, then people would think about it all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically, if you could play like, if you could play 4 mirror entities, like if you can play as many mirror entities as you wanted, I would probably play 4 of them and 1 ice block. But since you can't, I have gone with 1 counterspell and 1 vaporize. I think 5 is a good number for secrets, because that means you can draw them consistently when you have Kirin Tor. Like on starting hand, if I have Kirin Tor in starting hand, I'll always keep it. And if I have mirror entity, I will always keep it, or else I will mulligan for early drops like Argent and Mana Worms and such.
Yeah.
That's basically the
You
plan.
prefer Amani over like
Recently, I really
Maybe.
liked Amani because I've actually had I've seen Amani actually being able to really easily take out Ancient Watchers. Like Taunted
yeah.
Watcher, you can ping it and then kill it
True.
for free, which is insane. Like I've seen that done against me when I played my Druid deck, and I was like, "Whoa, that's like insane Amani value." And from there, I kind of liked it because I believe the Watcher Druid would be a really hard matchup for this deck. Because you copy a Watcher or whatever.
Yeah, grats.
That's you can never
true.
activate it. So yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't even silence it.
Yeah,
so,
you can't do shit with it. It's like dead card.
yeah, okay.
And that is one of the drops that you can afford to actually use mana on, even when you're behind. Like if you have a Sun Fury. Like turn 4, if you are behind, you drop your Watcher, you take the Mirror Entity, and then you drop a Sun Fury, give it Taunt, and then they're like screwed.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, definitely Amani is really good against that. And just generally Amani is I think,
Yeah, it's a good
decent
job,
card.
definitely. Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best 2-drops in Mage in general.
Yeah, probably because they can rage it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it about this deck. Do we want to talk about secrets in general? There was recently a secret change. Didn't really affect Mage that much, but I think the most affected class was actually a Paladin.
Yeah,
Oh.
Paladin.
yeah.
I had a redemption Paladin deck that got totally screwed over. Now
Do you
it's
want to
useless.
talk a bit about the change, Michael?
Yeah,
can just-
well, the change was basically
Yeah.
secrets were changed to only be activatable in your opponent's turn, which makes sense. They said it was like a balanced choice because then they would be able to make more powerful secrets.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Like we are all Yu-Gi-Oh players, and like the card called traps can only be like when you play them, you have to wait a turn, and then you can activate them in your own turn if you want to, but you cannot play the turn that you put it down.
And most of the traps usually activate from
If
when the
the-
opponent does
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
In their turn. Yeah.
So it made sense, like to separate secrets from spells, like to make sure people understood that these cannot function in the same way. They are different. But some cards like lost so much power. Redemption, especially an Eye for an Eye, just got even more useless.
Yeah.
And like Redemption was really bad before, and now it was super horrible because usually you would plan around it, then play it on the turn. You could sacrifice something and bring it back instantly. So I think it could have been cool if they buffed some of those cards. But like the general change, I don't mind too much.
I think definitely they need to do something about the Paladin secrets now, because they're just so bad.
Yeah, you have Noble Sacrifice and that's it, basically.
Yeah.
Like Redemption, as you said, lost so much. Like even Eye for Eye wasn't so popular, but even that lost. Like,
I would like to see, like in general, more powerful secrets, but at the same time they should be more easily played around. Like the prime example for me when I think about secrets is Explosive Trap, because it's so good. It's basically consecration. Consecration for 2 mana. And your opponent can know it every time. They can read it perfectly, but there's nothing you can do. If you have something down, has 2 life, like it's not gonna survive either way. You can trade it into something, but like this, it's very limited what you can do to play around the secrets. Some other secrets though are super weak and very easily destroyed, like Vaporize. You have a Harvest Golem, it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, or like Noble Sacrifice. If you read it, you just attack with something that either doesn't die or that is like you attack with a Novice Engineer. And,
exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
So I understand why secrets automatically activate in different scenarios, because Blizzard wants the game to be easily played on computer. Is different from like physical card games where you can interact with your opponent, say, hey, I activate this card. You do not have that freedom in the virtual space, and basically
because of delay and such.
Yeah, exactly. And you want it to be fluent, so it makes sense, but it just takes away a little of the mind games you can have by playing secrets, and make secrets a little more boring. So I hope they make most secrets a little more powerful and like more game changing.
But not Explosive Trap.
But the very strong ones are the ones you cannot play around. I would love to be able to play around Explosive Trap somehow, but you just can't.
But how? Like,
there's no way.
What would you do? But
I have no idea actually.
Like for instance, Mirror Entity, like it only triggers if you drop a monster with like 3, 5, or 7 attack or something. I don't know.
Oh,
it's just an idea. Like you could do it like that, right?
Yeah,
to play around.
That's true.
So definitely we like the secret mechanic.
Yeah, and we like the change as well. To only opponents.
Yeah, but the problem is that it kind of made some secrets useless.
Yeah, it did.
And there aren't many secrets anyway, so.
We're looking forward to more secrets, and please balance out the secrets we already have. Like, Eye for Eye is just horrible.
It coming from like Yu-Gi-Oh! It seems really silly that it's only like a few classes that have secrets, right?
Yeah, because
it might make sense in the Warcraft universe, but it just seems weird, like in a card game.
I think it's a countermeasure to like weapons. Like only some classes have weapons.
I guess.
So it's like only some classes have secrets.
It's just it's a shame, because like that mechanic is one of the things that allows you to have interaction with your opponent. But in the same way, you don't really have that interaction anyway, because you just throw them down and your opponent controls when they activate.
Yeah.
So
kind of fake interaction.
Yeah, like, hey, I did something in my opponent's turn, but I really didn't do anything. I was just sat here and watched the screen. So I don't know. I'm not sure what they can do, because like I understand why.
I think the only thing that they can do, and the thing that will happen, is that they will create more secrets. And when they create, like, when classes have like 10 secrets, then it will be much more mind games. Like if they're all on a pretty decent level, like average or above average, like there will be so much more thought and depth into the mechanic.
Because 4 traps is just easy.
Yeah.
4 secrets.
The only thing you're gonna miss.
Drop a monster.
The only thing you're gonna miss is the the mind games between do I activate it or do I not? Like, do I bait another card out?
Yeah. Yeah. You
That
can
was
say that.
like the major thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you could activate a card, destroy 2 guys, but you could risk it. Say maybe he plays another one, I can destroy 3 guys instead of
But
2
that's
guys.
just
Yeah, but that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, it's it's hard.
that would be
HearthStone.
possible on a computer setup.
Yeah, and I think that is why they have the RNG.
There would
to-
be like Magic Online.
Yeah, it's so annoying though. So I like the way that they made it work so fluently. It's just a shame that you lose some of that power you have.
But I guess that's just there's not much to do about it.
That's how it is. And if I was paid, I guess I could sit down multiple days and think about it. But I'm not paid, so I'm not gonna do that.
You have to study
Yeah. I like
to get paid.
Surely, if Blizzard invites me, to come work for them, sure, I can figure something out.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, if they ever need someone who hates every single part of their game, then
Well, I could fix it though. That's
or so you say.
I guess if I had like the actual numbers, I might become way more biased. Like all of a sudden, whoa, it's not pay to win, guys. I know I want your money. I don't know.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the last deck. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you had one more, Dario.
I just wanted to quickly say a few words about it because I think it's quite cool.
Name.
Murloc something.
Custom
Boring
Warlock.
name.
Wow.
Oh.
It's actually not called that. It's called. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's called like Murloc. Oh wait.
Nice name.
It's called Murloc.
Zulak. Anyway, fuck that. Anyway, the deck is basically like a mixture of Zoo and Murlocs, where I've tried to counteract some of the weaknesses of Zoo with the addition of Murlocs, and I think it's made the deck consistent as well. I took out some of the cards that I didn't really like with the Zoo. Cards like Young Priestess, Mortal Coil, some of the 3-drops, the Harvest Golems and such. Generally, pretty much all of the 3-drops from Zoo and most of the later drops. Except Doomguard.
Knife Juggler as well.
Yeah, Knife Juggler. I took out those cards in favor of the best Murloc cards, as I feel like. And it's basically the Tide Collar, I think, is one of the very best Murlocs. It's really good. It's a good 1-drop as well. Like turn 1, people usually really want to kill it. Like they are really afraid of it.
Yeah.
The one I don't play that most Murlocs play is the Oracle, the 1/1. Buff all Murlocs with 1 damage, except itself. I feel like in general it's a really bad card. Like you never want to actually throw it down unless you have a war leader on the field. And I feel like I felt like it made my deck inconsistent because if that was my only drop, it was just a really weak start.
Yeah.
So I would much rather throw down a Shield Bearer and block some attacks for my Murlocs or something. So generally, Argent Squire generally really good from Zoo.
Yeah.
And also good here. Play the Dogge still, because I put in the Shield Bearer. I feel like the Dogge is also quite good. Like, it almost does the same as the Oracle, actually, generally. Except it not being a Murloc, but...
Yeah, of course.
I actually understand this concept, and it seems very brilliant in a way, because Murlocs, you play Murlocs like you play Zoo, where you just throw out as much as possible to fill the board and let your opponent have a hard time like trying to deal with it, and then you trade to your advantage and hit in the face and stuff like that. And,
the thing is that some of the matchups like Handlock, specifically Handlock and Druid, are usually pretty bad matchups for Zoo. because at some point they just like
Shadow Flame you.
shadow flame you, and then they play like big taunts, and you can't really deal with those efficiently. But it's different with Murlocs because they buff each other, and they keep their health high. Like their HP levels are quite high, so they usually don't die to AoE, and they can really easily burst through like a giant with taunt if you have like enough Murlocs on the field. Like they ramp up more. So the deck definitely has more ramp up and a bit less control. But as I said, I mostly took out the cards that I felt like weren't so good with the zoo. Like the cards that I felt like were kind of meh, that were just there because no better alternatives. And I put in the Murlocs instead.
I think when I look at it, the thing that I put a question mark on is the Abusive Sergeant. Like, I can see the whole synergy of the deck, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right.
I think I'd probably play Young Priest over Abusive Sergeant, though I'm not sure.
So definitely Abusive Sergeant is one of the cards that was up for discussion when I was building it. But I ended up, like, I wanted a 1-drop, definitely.
Yeah.
So the choice was Abusive or Priestess, or I think it was Leopard. No.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're not playing Leopard as well. Yeah, I see.
So that was the 3. And out of the 3, I felt like Abusive Sergeant was better in more situations. Like, definitely also because I played a Shield Bearer, you can buff it, attack something.
True, yeah.
Also Void Walker, like buff it to 3/3, attack something. So in general, it's just like it's a 1-drop which has some extra synergy with some of the cards, and it can also help you get through Hunter. It's really good. Not Hunter. I mean Druid. It's really good against Druid because you can get through that big taunts more easily.
Yeah, I guess.
With like 1 guy instead of killing 2. And in general, just a fine card, I think. But definitely it was up to debate.
I think like Abusive Sergeant, it's been very popular in Zoo, and I really don't like it. I think it's really bad in the normal Zoo. But I can understand playing it in here because it's a little more. You can change directions a little more in Murloc, where you don't care about the field and hit more in the face.
Yeah, with the Murkai and the Leroy, like you have 2 big chargers here instead of only Leroy, or none as well. So it's like it's really good. Like you can just go for game, and I really like the Argus as well, which you usually don't see in Murlocs. But I felt like it was a good addition, especially because it also buffs the HP of like the Murlocs.
Yeah.
And it's really good against Hunter.
Yeah, Rex Hunter.
So definitely one of the cards. And the Doomguard is also, I feel like, quite good. So I wanted to have that as well.
Yeah, Doomguard is really strong. It's insane.
Yeah. And basically I went from rank 4, I think. When I was laddering, I went from rank 4 to rank 1 with this deck. And then I had quite like a few, not exactly this deck, a bit worse variation of it. But I lost a few games and I got kind of demotivated, so I switched to Druid. But I think I'm gonna play this a bit more and possibly make it even better. I might even cut the Abusives. I have to test them a bit. I haven't tested them so much yet, so
yeah,
definitely gonna. But I think it's like one of the most consistent decks I've played. Like, just overall, like all of your cards are pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Murlocs are actually quite good with the Shield Bearers. Like, even if it doesn't have effect, just the fact that they can't attack your Murlocs, like they're so afraid of them, because they snowball.
Yeah, you want to remove the Murlocs from the field, but if there's a Shield Bearer, you can't do it. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it for this deck. I'll play it a bit more and possibly talk a bit about it next time. Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we will drop over to our last segment, the class specifics, the 1-drops. Talk a bit about those.
The card discussion.
Card destruction.
The card indeed. The common mispronunciation that we got because we have played way too many card destructions in our life. It is a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
So where do we stop? Where do we have to start?
It's the second half, and like it's from Rogue on So there's only 4 classes: Rogue, Shaman, and Warlock and Warrior.
Rogue to Warrior.
Yeah, exactly. So Rogue has a lot of zero drops.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
And we are gonna start off with the backstep.
Oh, am I wrong?
What?
Yeah. So is backstab a good card?
Never mind.
Backstab is a good
yes,
card.
it is. It's
Oh,
2
wow.
damage for 0 mana.
Yeah.
It's. I feel like it's definitely one of the best cards in the game. Like it is so good. Like it's one of the best tempo cards in the game.
Yeah, it's very strong.
On tempo, I agree.
Like 0 mana kill a creature is mostly what it does in the early game, and it's like, well, I guess you kill a creature and you get a combo off in like like if they have 2 creatures on the board, like you play Rogue against Zoo, turn 3 you can backstab plus play your SI7 agent, kill 2 creatures. Like there's a huge tempo swing. Like that basically wins you the game.
Yeah, backstab is so strong. I agree. I think it used to be even stronger.
Yeah, it used to be against like it used to not have the undamaged effect.
Yeah.
So it just like deal 2 damage for 0 mana, which is okay, I guess. If you like good cards.
It's like Arcane Shot for 0 mana.
Yeah.
How would you like that in Hunter?
So yeah. Moving on to preparation, which is only really seen in Miracle Rogue, where it is insane.
Yeah. In general, it's a bad card, but if you have Auctioneer, it's a good card. It's a really good card.
It's just it's an innovate that you cannot use for creatures, which is why it's not as strong as innovate. Like imagine if you could like use preparation and then play out, I don't know, SI7 agent on turn 0. It's like what? But yeah.
And then give it cold blood and then be like, what up?
What up? But yeah. It's usually you lose way too much card advantage and Rogue.
Yeah.
I think if this card was in any other class, it would be even stronger. But Rogue has so few expensive spells because of their
high mana.
Yeah, because of their combo. So a lot of the time you only your preparation, then you use like conceal or eviscerate. You don't even use the full effect of 3 mana. And if you do,
you don't use the 3 mana.
Yeah, it's like.
But the thing is, they use it when they have Auctioneer.
Yeah, exactly.
They only use it when they have Auctioneer, so it replaces itself, and then it's just really, really good because it allows you to play 1 more spell as well.
Yeah, exactly, and it
In Miracle Rogue, it's basically you gain 3 mana and draw a card.
I think in the future, when more cards are released, this card is gonna be even stronger.
Even stronger,
yeah, true.
So
and the next one, not the last one.
The next one is Shadow Step, which is also a Miracle Rogue card.
Yeah.
Used for finishing off people in the most disgusting ways.
Let me explain. You have a Leroy Jenkins in hand. You have 2 Shadow Step and you have 2 Cold Blood. Then you play Leroy, Shadow Step, Leroy, Shadow Step, Leroy, Cold Blood, and you have damage 26 damage.
Yeah. Shadow Step is one of those cards that is like, it just looks awesome. And it's like when a new player even is like, whoa, I can do wombo combos all over the place. It's very strong with Leroy Jenkins, and I guess you can use it in some other instances, but right now, like this.
Yeah, I mostly see it Leroy or SI7 agent.
Exactly.
I think you can kind of say the same about it as we did about preparation. Like it is definitely a combo card. It requires a deck built around it because in itself you just lose a lot of advantage on it. So you have to have a deck that builds around somehow gaining a lot of card advantage through, for example, Auctioneer, or having some cards that come. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess.
Hey, welcome back, Michael.
Hey, hello there.
So, talking about Cold Blood, it's a really good card. Like, one 1 mana for 4 damage is basically what it does, and the damage sticks as well, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best of its kind. Like,
Yeah,
just-
it's straight up better than Blessing of Might, I'd say.
yeah.
You need to combo it though.
That's
Yeah,
true, but
but-
in general, you will do that. So
Yeah. It's
So a really good card for finishing off and just doing early damage. Like I've seen many times Miracle Rogue players will just put it on the SI7 agent, attack directly for 4 extra damage, and like just completely legit.
yeah.
Just put it on something to draw a card with Auctioneer. Also good.
That card is really good, especially in Miracle Rogue, but it's just really good in other.
Yeah, I
it's
guess
really good
I think
in other
most Rogue decks actually play this card as kind of a finisher.
Yeah, might be. I'm not sure, but maybe
I think you play at least one in the Fair Rogue deck.
It's just
Maybe, I'm not
it's so much
sure.
damage, and I think
it definitely is.
it's a good card.
Cool. So moving on to Conceal, which is also a really good card in the Miracle Rogue deck.
Play it with Auctioneer, don't play it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good with
Yeah.
Auctioneer, or else it's not really.
Guys, you use it on Hogger, you don't even know.
Yeah, that's true actually. Or like Ragnaros,
Yeah, something like
Darkness.
Yeah.
that. But
Are
yeah, in general, it's just you use it on some kind of OTK combo deck where you hide your stuff. Like you hide Auctioneer, draw a ton of cards next turn, or you hide your entire freaking army, and then you
Yeah.
kill him next turn. That's like basically conceal.
Those spell monsters, 1/3s that gets +2 damage when you cast a spell.
Yeah, the Mana Addict.
I've seen them like when they play 2 of those and then they play conceal. You're just so scared because you know you'll take so much damage next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that play is really sick as well.
Yeah, I tried it's just sad that deck was really inconsistent. But that's it for Concealer. Just even more combo. Like Rogue is filled with situational combo cards.
Cool. Well, moving on to Deadly Poison, which
Yeah.
I think in general is the best 1-drop.
It's it's the most stable of all the cards we have just walked through from Miracle
Except
Rogue
Backstab.
or Rogue. And
I guess.
true, Backstab. Deadly
Except
Poison.
Deadly Poison are probably.
Yeah.
Because everyone plays as many as you can of both,
Yeah.
basically.
It's so strong. Deadly Poison is basically you combine it with your hero power to make a free 2x. Like it's like Fiery Warx, and we know Fiery Warx is very strong. But Deadly Poison you can combine, like you can play 2 Deadly Poisons, and then you have like an Arcanite Reaper.
And it gives you a combo for 1 mana.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many instances where this is so strong. It's just a really, really good card. Because the weapons
also
are strong.
You can play it with their other weapon. What is it called? Let me find it. Assassin's Blade.
Assassin's Blade?
Yeah.
And buff it from like if you drop 1 on it, it can deal 20 damage to the enemy on its own. If you put 2 on it, it deals 28 over 4 turns. So it's like it can if you have Deadly Poison together with that, it's just so sick. Like
And
if
then you get
compare
Ooze.
Golbat, then
It's
it's
good you
8
play
damage
Ooze, yeah.
for 1 mana, right?
It's good that you play You Belong in a Museum.
Yeah.
There's some jealous.
Oh.
Yeah.
So moving on to the last one of the bunch of the road cards, it's the Sinister Strike,
Yeah.
which might also be the worst one.
Yeah, I really don't like Sinister Strike. It's
It's the one that don't see play at least.
yeah. The thing is, it's 3 damage. It's just 1 damage above the Hunter ability, and we all dislike the Hunter ability in general. So it seems like it's a waste of a card, and even if you play some kind of burn, it's just
It's like
not enough.
yeah, even when you played the burn rogue, the one that just went face all the time, you never wanted to have this card in the early game. You kind of wanted to have it in the late game, where if they had taunts up, you could maybe still win. So yeah,
I just feel like head crack is what you want to have actually.
yeah, like it's
If you
just
want to play
definitely
the Burn Rogue.
Sinister Strike kind of Underwoman card, which is a shame. They could definitely make it better somehow.
Don't, please. I don't want Burn Rogue back. Burn Mage was bad enough when it was here. I really don't like that
mind this
play
card.
style.
I don't mind
Please
this
don't
card
buff
being.
it.
Yeah. I think the card is actually like balanced right now in its power.
The thing is, if you buffed it up to 4 damage, look how OP it is compared to like Mind Blast for
It's
Priest.
just thing.
And if you buff the Mind Blast as well, I think you would see some really silly combos in Priest. With my turn 9 Priest, yeah?
Yes.
Moving on to Shaman.
Yeah, moving on, I guess.
So, Shaman, we'll start off with probably the second best one, Ancestral Healing.
What? The second best one? I guess between the zero drops. Yeah, I guess. Ancestral Healing. I have tried so many times to make this work. And you're like, hey, it's amazing on Injured Blade Master.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah. So
but to be honest, it's quite good on Injured Blade Master.
Yeah,
the problem is that's the only card it's good on.
Yeah. Injured Blade Master is so bad in Shaman because the deck is filled with free drops.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put even more free drops in. You just kill yourself. So for that reason, it is not as good as you want it to be. It has a little potential, and I have been like destroyed by this in some matchups where they Ancestral Healing my dude and then Black Knighted. I'm like, why are you kidding me? But it's just a little too situational. Yeah, I think.
Then you get owned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think
the card actually has some place, but in general it's just a situational.
Yeah, it's way too situational. I think this might be a hidden gem in the future, but right now it's just not good.
So moving on to Totemic Might, which is possibly the best card in the game. Christopher, please explain why this card is so amazing.
This card can add 2 health to all your totems. So so it's basically like the thing is, if you're ahead, the card has potential to give 2 health to your totems.
Okay. If you are ahead, this card has potential to do nothing.
Basically, if you're ahead, it doesn't do much, and if you're behind, it does nothing. So no, it's a bad card.
Yeah. But Totemic Might though.
Totemic Might though.
Don't do it. Don't. No, just don't.
Yeah.
It's bad.
This card sucks.
I'm legend.
Okay, basically what this card does is, okay, let's take a look at a comparable card. So we take a look at Powered Shield, and it costs 1 mana. Yes, you can give it to any minion, which can make it good for trades, and you draw a card. So basically, you take all of that away. You give it to Totemic Might, which can only buff minions that have 0 attack.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's like
so they sometimes take 2 hits to kill.
Dude, you have no idea. You have a Searing Totem. Like, you have a Searing Totem.
And then you can have a 1/3. Yes!
Dude and your opponent played Abusive Sergeant, right? Like, Totemic Might is your savior.
It's good when you have 4 totems out and Flame Tongue, 2 Flame Tongues, and a Mana Tide. Then I can see, then I'd claim it's good.
Yeah, and your opponent has Consecration.
Then they all survive.
If you have 7 totems on the field, and 2 of them are Flame Tongue, then I would say this card is better than Powered Shield. In that specific situation.
So what you're saying is Totemic Might is insane on turn 10?
Yes.
Probably you should just play Bloodlust instead and win.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess.
Totemic Might just don't.
Just don't.
Moving on to Earthshock.
Yeah.
Which is considerably better.
Yeah, slightly better.
Yeah, it's compared to Silence from Priest, it has 1 damage, which gives it potential to work with spell damage.
Yeah.
And the silence plus 1 damage is actually very useful because of the cards that we have. Many times you have like a Harvest Golem, and you have some kind of like, I don't know, Sunfury Protector or Amani Berserker or something. You hit into it for 2 damage, and then you Earth Shock it for the last 1 damage, and there's like no new golem coming out because it was silenced before the damage.
Yeah, that's like a really important thing about the card is that it silences first and then does the damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think many new players would overlook pretty easily.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like, for example, Scarlet Crusader. You get rid of the Divine Shield, then deal the 1 damage, it dies. Or
and potentially, if
Twilight
your
Drake.
opponent is playing Handlock, basically what it does is deal 9 damage to a Azure Drake.
Twilight Drake.
Twilight Drake. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It's
so
the
many
hard card of
situations
Twilight
where this card is like, it's good. And also sometimes it's just, oh well, I can silence some dude and 1 damage. I guess doesn't really matter. But the thing is, compared to Silence from Priest, is that it has the potential to be amazing, and often, very often, that 1 damage is very important.
Yeah, and also the difference in the classes itself actually makes it much better. Like, because of the 1 damage component, like Shaman has so much access to spell damage in the deck.
Yeah.
That the 1 damage is usually 2 or even 3, so makes it quite amazing.
Yeah.
Earthshock is good.
Yes.
Forked
Lightning.
Yeah. So basically, I really don't like this card.
Cleave for 3 mana.
The thing is, it's like Cleave, but you have access to spell power, but it costs more mana.
Yeah.
I have been wrecked by this card so many times, but it's just when you play it yourself, you just destroy your next turn because you have too much overload.
I think E-Cop, he actually explained this card the best, and he said the problem with this card is actually that it has to have 2 targets, which is also kind of a problem with Cleave.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you cannot use it on 1 target only. Like if it could be up to 2 targets, it would be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Much better.
Way better.
So the fact you have to have 2 targets at least. And then the other fact is that if they have more than 2, then it's random, which inherently makes it bad. Like you can never like calculate anything out of it.
Yeah.
And you can really screw yourself over. And the last problem is that you can never ever use it in the early game, or you basically just lose.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Use it on turn 1 or 2, and then you lose your entire next turn.
Yeah.
If you use it on turn 1, that's insane though.
Well, if they. Yeah.
That's the thing. You never use it on turn 1.
Yeah, you can't use it on turn 1.
So you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But usually the earliest you use it is on turn 2, and then you have you waste 1 mana, and then you overload 2 mana for next turn, so you can't even drop a totem. It's just the problem with this card is really just the mana balance.
Would you rather have seen it cost 2 mana and then overload for 1?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be much better actually.
Yeah. Or even more insane, deal 3 damage and then 3 mana overload or something, I don't know.
Well, then it would be just like a huge tempo card, which would change the card.
Yeah, it would change it a lot. I think this card, you can try it out at 1, but most of the time I don't like it. It's dead too often.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, moving on to even more
Frostshock.
Yeah, Frostshock.
Which is kind of has the same things going for it that Earthshock does. The problem is that you take away the silence and you give it freeze, and freeze is
not as strong as silence.
Definitely not as strong, especially in Shaman.
There's one note to this card: it can be used on the opponent champion.
Yeah, that's true.
I tried to make a deck with Malygos in Shaman. Tried to make it; it didn't work at all. But it was kind of cool to end up turn 10, drop Malygos, and then freeze the opponent champion for 6 damage. Yeah, stuff like that.
The thing is,
on the positive side, it has an awesome artwork.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, freeze is basically freeze is way weaker than silence.
Yeah.
Freeze, like you see freeze dropped on like frostbolt, which is already doing the damage it should do. And in a freeze, like if we saw a 2 mana free damage with silence, like that would be insane. Silence is just way better than freeze, and therefore Earthshock is better than Frostshock.
Yeah.
And you don't have space for both, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Lightning bolts.
Lightning
bolts so
is one of the great 3 damage spells that Shaman has.
Yeah.
And like there's different situations where you would rather have Lightning Bolt or you would rather have Rockbiter. Usually it would be that Rockbiter is better in early game and Lightning Bolt is better late.
Yeah, I would agree.
That was usually how it worked. But with the uprising of the OTK Shaman-ish decks with Doomhammer and Alakir, there is sometimes you want to use your Lightning Bolts earlier than your Rockbiters, but
because
it really depends on your hand. Like turn 2, the most important decision with these 2 cards is which one do you want to use turn 2 as your only play to kill their minion. Like you will usually have to use one of them, and if you have a 3-drop, you most likely want to use Rockbiter, even though it's kind of a win condition, just to get better like smooth.
Yeah. This card is just like scales with spell power. You can use it easily together with spell power because of the low mana cost. And it's just a good card.
Yeah. I think also one of the difference between Lightning Bolt and Rockbiter is that Lightning Bolt bypasses taunt monsters.
Yeah.
Which is really
that's why it's also much better late game, and also you can buff Lightning Bolt's damage with your spell power.
Yeah, exactly.
But Rockbiter has the finisher effect. So
true.
I think that was actually both of those cards.
Yeah.
Rockbiter, I guess. Yeah.
But they're relevant to talk about in a pair. So
they do the same, but Rockbiter can be comboed with like Wind Furious and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and Lightning Bolt can become combined with spell power and
They're both very great cards.
Yeah,
and they have a lot of reach. Like they can kill minions all the way up to turn 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have like an axe or something, you can kill a Yeti with a Rockbiter.
Yeah.
So moving on to Dust Devil.
I got wrecked by Dust Devil once.
Yeah, and you were very sad about it. I remember.
I was really sad because this card sucks major ball sacks.
The thing is, it has the same problem as Fog Lightning.
I don't know.
You can say this card you actually want to play on turn 1, but you don't have a turn 2 then. So like, if the opponent has anything to get rid of it, you're just set so far behind.
Yeah.
Like it's trying to go for face from turn 1, and that's not really realistic unless you play Hunter.
The thing is, this card is super bad late game, and if you have it early game, 3 out of 6 classes instantly just wins against you if you play this card.
Michael, did I hear 3 out of 6 classes?
3 out of 9 classes.
Thank you.
That was definitely what I said.
So basically, but if you are playing against a handlock, and you have the Dust Devil, and they don't have Mortal Coil, and no Soulfire, then you just win.
That's true.
Whoa, Dust Devil is so nerf, please.
Then they're like, well, I guess life tap, and then they take 6 damage, and then they life tap, and then they take 6 damage.
The thing is, Dust Devil is too situational, and you don't want to have a card that is so situational.
Yeah, basically, if you have to explain a card with how good it is, and you have to add a lot of, well, if this happens, this card is good. If this happens, this card is good. Then it's usually not good.
Yeah, that's not solid enough.
So moving on to Warlock.
Sacrificial Pact.
Ooh.
This card, you can use it on your opponent's cards, which makes it a great side deck option. But if you're not playing in a tournament without if you're not playing in a tournament where you can side deck, don't play the card because it's just dead all the time.
Yeah, you don't want to use it on your own.
Yeah.
You can use it on your own to save yourself from Hunter, and if you like have the kill next turn anyway. But in general, you just set yourself behind by using on your own.
You use a card from your hand to set yourself behind.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you want to do in this game. Yep. It's like lightning bolting your own guy, just for the heck of it. But you can use Sacrificial Pact on Jiraxis to instantly win and troll people.
Yeah.
But don't play it on ladder. Only side it in if you're playing against a Warlock and you know he's gonna play either Jiraxis or like some
Flame Imps or whatever.
Exactly.
Any demon.
If you know he plays demons, then you can play Sacrificial Pact. But otherwise, don't do it.
Can.
Yeah.
So moving on to Soulfire, which is possibly one of the most insane cards in the game.
It's so strong. So strong.
The thing about this card is that
you can do everything.
You can kill anything, like in the first 4 turns of the game. Like if they like, the best use I have of this card is like you play a zoo deck and you swarm the board, and then you play against Warrior on turn 3. They throw down the
Frothing Berserker.
The 2/4, and you just Soulfire it and you keep swarming, and they're like
GG.
Soulfire is
you can kill the enemy with it. You can hit face with it. Yeah,
I definitely think they should nerf this card in some way. Like, make it only 2 minions or something.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At least make it only 2 minions.
And then Shadow Ball can go to face. I don't really care. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow Balls. I don't understand why Shadow Balls can only hit minions.
Yeah, it's kind of inconsistent and kind of weird. Like, Shadow Ball is not a good card.
Yeah.
And even if it could go to face, I still don't think it would be much better, but it'd still be something. Like.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, Soulfire would still be way better.
Yeah.
But
Soulfire is just such a momentum card where you can take over the field instantly for 0 mana.
The fact that it's in Warlock makes it so much better. Like, if any other class had Soulfire, I would probably not play it always. Like, I would think about playing it.
Exactly.
But in Warlock, it's just a no-brainer because you always have cards with your hero power.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you combine it with your hero power, it's like a 2-drop that deals 4 damage. Like, even there, it is already better than all of the other 2-drops that deals 3 damage.
Yeah.
And you have the added option of being able to like, play it in other situations where you have no mana left and just like momentum swing.
Yeah.
And then you can make up for it next turn with your hero power instead. It's like so strong. So strong.
Definitely play this card.
Yeah.
In every single Warlock deck, like, without exception.
Just do it, man.
Yeah.
It's like innovate. Just play it.
Yeah. So moving on to another card that is just play it. It's Corruption.
No, just don't play it.
What do you mean? It instantly kills a minion for 1 mana.
You have one thing wrong there. The
That's
instantly part.
Almost instant. Just a turn delayed.
The thing is, the reason Corruption is bad is basically you play it on a minion, then they trade it. You're like, oh.
If you use it on a minion, you automatically say you can't play anything on the field for the rest of your turn, because then they will just trade the minion anyway.
Yeah.
Although, I will say, actually, this card is quite good against Ancient Watchers.
That's true.
I've seen it been used against my Ancient Watchers, and I've been quite sad, because I'm like, but...
I actually, I could see this as an early game tempo card. In handlock, because you don't play anything anyways.
I agree. I actually think this card has potential in handlock.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. I think it's decent in handlock. Like, I would want to test it if I could play handlock.
The card is basically, if you don't expect to play anything, you can play this card. But if you want to control the field, don't play Corruption. It's just never live.
Yep.
So,
moving on to a Mortal Coil.
A Mortal Coil. It is it's alright, I think. It's okay.
Well, I think we have different opinions on it.
We spoke a bit about it when you were talking about your Murloc deck.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I kind of like the card, but yeah, sometimes it can be dead, and then it's just really silly. But at other times it can, it can be good. Like I don't know
Like,
what.
Generally, generally it will be 1 free damage for 1 mana.
Yeah.
Like 1 damage for 1 mana.
Yeah,
It's like
Without losing a card.
it's a little bit situational, but it is mage hero power.
Yeah, for 1 mana.
In Warlock.
And I think the card is better in handlock than it is in zoo and aggro versions.
I think it's alright in zoo.
Yeah, it's all right, but the thing is that I tested it and I always had like, if you have 2 in your starting hand, like it's so bad. Like because if you have board control, I would never play 2 because if you have board control, like all of the minions that they play, they will usually die to one of your minions. Usually, like it's rare that you will kill one of your own. Like it's best against like stuff like Harvest Golem.
Yeah. I think the card is just like it's just perfectly balanced, perfectly alright.
I actually agree. It's like a perfectly balanced card.
Yeah.
And then there's like a green skull on it with a laser beam, which makes it even better. Like, what more can you want?
The only thing I'm disappointed about is this card. Like it feels more like a.
You feel like the laser beam should be blue?
No, it feels like Arthur should be casting this and not some random warlock.
I guess.
That is just my inner Warcraft 3 fanboy coming out, so.
Yeah, you are clearly not a World of Warcraft fanboy. Because you would know that Mortal Coil is cast by every warlock.
Yeah, idiots.
Yeah.
Screw up the game for me. Anyways, power over.
Moving on to another card before Michael says too much.
Yeah.
Power overwhelming.
Finish a card. Well, I guess you can say it. You can have weak monsters that can trade really, really far up. Like you can have, I don't know, something with 4 mana, 4 attack that just kills Ragnaros, something like that, right?
Well, I think generally, the card is actually pretty good. Like in general, when I have played it in my Warlock aggro / Murloc decks, I used to play it in earlier versions, and it was quite good because you can give it to like a one damage minion, and then it has 5 damage total, so it can kill big stuff.
Yeah.
And generally, it's good for like creating pressure.
And it fills the purpose of Soulfire in the end, that it kills. Like if you have Power Overwhelming and Soulfire in your hand, you have 8 surprise damage along with what you have on your board. So.
Yeah, I think Power Overwhelming, it's just a very cool card. Because you can, it's just like we talked about Cold Blood, but the difference is Cold Blood you can usually hit and then conceal, and you can hit once more, which makes Cold Blood better. But Power Overwhelming have like the same effect. You can play it on something 4 damage for 1 mana, which makes it very strong.
Yeah, I guess.
And I want to see someone silence their minion after they trade it with power, like.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That's actually good.
But I haven't seen it yet, so I'm waiting.
Actually, all handlock players have started playing this card, or not all, but many handlock players have started playing this card together with Leroy.
It works with Shadowflame as well.
Oh yeah, that's
works with Shadowflame as well, and then the best combo that they actually do with this card is you play Leroy, then you use Power Overwhelming, and then you use what's called Faceless Manipulator on the Leroy for 20 damage. 20 damage onto 10.
Don't do it, please. Oh, that sounds so.
And it's actually quite consistent because you draw so many cards. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You have to expect it. Like one of the things to expect when playing against handlock. Like I've lost to it. It's really good.
I actually haven't seen it, but when you mention it, it sounds really crazy.
And by the way, the golden card looks insanely amazing, and all the viewers can enjoy it for this entire discussion.
I can't see it. I don't have it.
Anyways.
Moving on to Blood Imp. But I think we've talked before a lot about this card. So
yeah, it got nerfed. So go watch episode 1, I guess.
Yeah, I
I
think.
think we rated it too highly in the episode 1 because no one is playing it.
Yeah, nobody is playing this card.
It lost too much power, so no one is playing it.
The problem, it's too slow, and it lost the one attack, which allowed it to have.
I think the one
momentum.
attack was actually more significant.
Yeah, exactly.
Than we thought.
Like,
Yeah.
It has no like momentum now, and the field effect it had before nerf was like it was instant, and we talked about it. Now, like,
I think Priestess is better in every situation, and
Exactly.
we don't even play Priestess in all decks. So.
Yeah, not in all decks. But
yeah. Like
Okay.
they go into the
Right.
same decks, but Priestess feel the aggressive decks better. Therefore, you don't ever play Blood Imp. Like almost.
Moving on to a Flame Imp, which is the polar opposite.
Yeah.
So strong.
The card got nerfed, and it's still so strong. Like
Was it 3/3? No, it dealt 2 damage.
No,
It
no.
dealt
Dealt
2
2
damage.
damage.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay.
I think the nerf was actually quite significant. Like more than I thought. Like 3 damage is a lot.
Yeah, it hurts.
They are
It
not happy
hurts.
to play it against Thunder Rush.
Because if you play Flame Imp and your opponent just Frostbolt or Wrath or something, it's just I just dealt 3 damage to myself.
Yeah.
And that's all.
But the
But
stats
it
are so good.
really good card. Yeah.
It
Like,
gives
not much
so
more
much
to say.
momentum.
Yeah. Just kills everything.
Yeah, it's just a 2-drop for 1 mana. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, good card. Especially good if you play it on turn 1 together with the next card, Voidwalker.
Yeah. I do that all the time, and my opponent instantly surrenders.
It's one of the best openers is Voidwalker Flame Imp because they can't use anything to kill it. Like they can't use like what's it called, Claw or something from Druid.
Yeah.
They can't use Rock Biter from Shaman, etc.
Yeah.
It just makes it even stronger, and Voidwalker in itself is really strong, like 1/3 taunt.
Yeah. It
Really
trades
good.
with every 1 drop in the game, except
Kills
the class specific ones.
yeah.
It kills those and survives, and it's a body for all your aggressive minions.
Yeah, it
They
makes
have to-
people have to deal with it before they can get to your really good
Yeah,
minions.
exactly.
Yeah. Kills almost anything in Thunder Rush, which is nice.
And taunts up afterwards.
And so on. So.
Just so good. Good card.
Generally, good card.
If you play aggressive decks, play both this and Flame Imp.
Yeah, and actually, I've seen Voidwalker actually be in the handlock.
Yeah, you can. If you play it in handlock, you don't play it on turn 1. You wait until you have Jiraxis, then you play Jiraxis for 9 mana, and then you play Voidwalker the same turn for the last 1 mana. And that protects your Jiraxis to be able to trade with your hero power easier. And you can usually survive that little extra damage that you need in order to start pumping out those 6/6s.
Yeah.
It was like a very strong strategy at some point.
But it's also like you can also play it on turn 1 or turn 3.
Yeah, I think I'm not too much a fan of that.
Well, I've seen like the what's it called, the one guy, the G-Walls he's called. He plays a lot of handlock, and he's actually the one that reintroduced this card.
Yeah.
And he plays it a lot on turn 1 and 2, just to like if you're playing against a really like Hunter Rush.
Of course, against Hunter.
And also sometimes you can play it against Zoo, depending on what they start with. Like if they start Argent Squire, Voidwalker is really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that
depends on whatever your opponent is doing.
Yeah, but the point is that even in handlock, like it has late game potential as well. Like it's not just that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good card.
Which makes it good. So moving on to a Warrior.
Yeah, they have a 1/0 drop.
Inner Rage.
And it's Inner Rage. And I saw this card a lot earlier, but now it's a little more rare.
I feel like the problem with this card is that I think the only reason you don't play it is just because there are better alternatives in Warrior. Like in Warrior Control.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a really balanced card. Like it's like 1 damage for 0 mana, which can be buffed with spell power and stuff, and used to combo with Execute. You can even buff your own minions to give Enrage or give more damage or something. So yeah, I think it's a decent card, but I think the reason you don't play it in Warrior Control is because there are better alternatives.
Yeah, Inner Rage was really cool for like you could use it for finishing off minions before, and you could buff like your Ramesh for insane damage. But basically, it like you have a tight. The deck is so tight, and you have a lot of excess. I think it's called
Excess mana.
Yeah, exactly.
Excess.
Especially Warrior has a lot of excess mana compared to all other classes, I think. Which is why this is not as amazing as it could be. So.
Yeah, I agree. The card has potential, but I think the 2-drop Cruel Taskmaster does the job better.
Yeah, exactly. It leaves your body.
Because it has a body, yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Moving on to Execute, which is one of the best cards.
It's so good.
The
So
Warrior Control,
good.
like, you have so many ways to deal 1 damage, and it's just like,
assassinate for 1 mana. No problem, yo.
Like, imagine this card in any class that could ping with hero power. Just imagine it. Like 3 mana, kill anything.
Yeah.
This in Mage
Except
would be
for Divine Shield.
insane.
Like, what the fuck? And even in Warrior, like, you play cards specifically
you
for
play
this
Whirlwind.
card.
Yeah, you play Whirlwind and Slam stuff.
Yeah.
Set this up.
So good against, like, I don't know.
The thing that it's bad against is like it's really bad against Hunter Rush, and it's really bad against. It's not really bad, but it's kind of bad against Sue. Like the early decks that don't have high drops, it's not really very good against. So you become a bit sad every time you draw it against those matchups. On the other hand, you have Armor Smith that is so good just to make up for it. So it's okay.
Oh, moving on to a Shield Slam.
The card that is even better than Execute.
Would you say it's better?
Yeah, I think it's better. This card
I think it's better as well.
does not need a setup, and because the way that Warrior works. Oh yeah, but
the setup.
Usually, most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, this card does the same as Execute, but without the need of Whirlwind or any kind of ping beforehand.
Yeah.
That is not completely true though, but yeah. Like
if you have control, this is really good.
If you have control, it's sick. But if you are behind and being, getting hit in the face all the time, you need your shield block to set it up.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you can still buff it up to 7 damage for 1 mana.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's really good.
The thing is to note about this card, it does not stack with spell damage.
Oh yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Does not. We tried it,
and we got messed up. But we tried it and we lost the game on
it.
I'm pretty sure I've tried
all other cards like Blade Flurry and
I think
Soul Explosion or whatever it's called from Warlock, they stack with spell damage. It's just so weird that this does not.
I think when we tried it, we used it while we had no armor.
Yeah, exactly.
But then still, right, we would argue that it should still deal. If you have 1 spell power and you have 0 armor, it should deal 1 damage, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure about that. Like, I'm pretty positive I've tried it with spell damage and it actually...
So, if that is true what Dorothy is saying, basically it does not stack with spell damage if you have 0 zero shield.
But the silly thing is you can still use it on 0 armor.
Yeah, that's just... but that's because of the card text.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I guess.
Just get consistent, Blizzard, please. For the love of God, fix your game.
Like
it's so good you could just fix it.
Scale with spell power.
All of the time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moving on to Upgrade.
Yeah.
Which is a balanced card.
Alright. Yeah. It's kind of funny actually.
It's really sick in a Rush Warrior deck.
Yeah.
Like you use it on a
6/3.
Yeah, you gain
Arcanite Reaver.
7 damage if you use it on an Arcanite Reaver.
Yeah.
For 1 mana. And even on Fire
you
War,
gain. You actually gain 8 damage.
Oh yeah, 8 damage. That's true. Yeah.
It's just it's a little bit situational. The 1-3 part is really bad.
Yeah.
So you want to use it on a existing weapon, and you don't always have that. But in general, it's an alright card. You can play it if you play a lot of if you play very aggressive or you play a lot of weapons. But otherwise, like if you don't have space for it, you don't need to play it.
Yeah, you can skip it definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it, but
It's
yeah,
not
it
a
fits
one.
into certain decks, and
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it fits into the control version that is most played right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, moving on to the last one of the bunch.
Whirlwind.
It wrecks Honda Rush. I love it.
It's
And
it's a combo card.
it's really just a combo card.
Yeah.
I play double Armor Smith and double Acolyte of Pain.
Everyone does.
Yeah, and
because of this card.
Yeah.
Well, not because of this card, but
yeah, it just sets them up so very well. Like it's 3 draws off of Acolyte of Pain, and it's like if you have 2 Armor Smith and 2 other monsters, you drop 2 of those, you gain 16 armor, and you just won against Honda, basically.
so
this card is strong because it works with execute and it works with your own minions, so it's like a combo card that is actually consistent enough to be played.
Yeah, works with frothing as well. You can set really sick damage up with frothing.
Yeah, well, one last thing I would note about this card is that it looks really, really amazing in gold.
Yeah, it does. I have it.
I don't have it in gold, man.
I have it in gold as well.
I guess that is it.
That's it for the 1-drops, I think. The class-specific 1 and 0-drops. It was quite a long journey, I'd say.
Yeah.
Holy shit, there's a lot of those cards when you go through them. And yeah. But I think it was okay. Like, we got a good points on some of the cards, and I think there was a few cards where I actually got some ideas for them, where I didn't really think about them before. Like the corruption thing, I might actually consider testing that. Totemic Might, obviously, really good for tests. Anyway, best in test, as Michael would say.
Totemic Might, dude, what the fuck? So insane.
Anyway, to wrap this up, I think that's it for this part and this podcast as well.
Well, Hiroja couldn't hold it in any longer.
Hiroja had to go to the bathroom, which was okay.
But
it's been quite a long cast, to be honest. So it's justified.
Yeah.
Any finishing words, Michael?
Yeah. In the end, I would like to just shortly, for anyone who's interested, we will be linking our streams. Me and Dorothor. I do the co-op laddering with Henry, and Dorothor does his own thing, which is also very great.
Yeah, I've actually been trying to get a bit more into streaming, and I'll stream a lot the next week. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I do a lot of commentary, and generally I also get really upset when I lose, so that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, so if you don't want my rage all the time, but you want a little bit of Dorothor's rage, go check out his stream whenever it's up. I also think Twitch recently changed the subscriber thing, so it's not entirely email based. Now you can see it in the little sidebar over.
I mean, follow
on the right side. I don't think that was there before, so it's easier to follow. Not subscribe, follow. It's easier to follow without being annoyed by spam mails all the time.
Yep. Definitely.
But anyways, we'll put those links in the description, and you will, if we have some amazing fights or amazing duels or whatever, I guess we'll post them here on YouTube still. And when we have tournaments, we don't always stream because we might get like hexed and ghosted and stuff. So We'll still be trying to upload content on this page whenever we have time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for this time.
Yeah.
As usual, stay sharp. Go break them hearts, play them cards, and cheers.
And cheers. Yeah.
Oh, lol. Yeah. Have